Yeah, good evening, everyone. So we have our demo day of cohort 7. So as usual, we have some cohort startups, some at times startups from previous cohorts, and some new startups who we believe may be closer to funding. Yeah. So I'll quickly mention about Sarthy. Yeah, hi Rajneesh. So Rajneesh is again our mentor investor, and he's a panelist. I've shared the review sheet with the external and internal panelists. If anybody has a challenge, please DM or put it. I'll also be personally messaging you if you want the link again. I can put it in the individual chat. Yeah. Plus, there's Mr. Chetan Mathur. So there'll be 3 internal panelists. Okay, and Manjula, four panelists who will be reviewing the startup today. Yeah. So order of the pitches, Amar has put it in the group. Yeah. 10 minutes each startup will get to pitch and 5 minutes for Q&A. Really excited to understand what you are doing and where you are in that funding journey. So best wishes from Team Sarthy for your pitches. Yeah. So without further ado, I'll call the first startup for today, which is Cupidknot. So you can set it up, Siddhant. Please keep your video on while you are presenting. Others, please keep your audio off. Unless you are asking a question, please keep your audio off. Yeah. So over to you, Siddhant. Best wishes. Start.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll just share my screen. I hope my screen is visible to everybody.
Yes, Siddhant. Please go ahead.
Perfect. So hi everybody, I'm Siddhant Banthia. I am the founder of Cupidknot. I'm the youngest matchmaker in India. I have started my journey at the age of 22 as a matchmaker for the Jain community. From then, it's been 6 years I've been doing this particular work in this industry, and I have gained a lot of knowledge out of it. I come from a background where my family is into finance. My father has a background as a chartered accountant, and we have three, four verticals across India. And I personally started my journey at the age of 17 as a runner boy in my family business, and from there on, the journey continues. I have done my post graduation from SPG in Bombay. From there, the idea of getting into this industry came into life. So I'll just brief a little bit about what exactly is Cupidknot. Cupidknot is not just another matrimonial service. We are a bunch of geeks who are doing it. I have a very proud moment to say that we have 65% of female force who's working with us constantly, and we aim to raise it to 75% in the coming 2 quarters. That will push this particular sensitive segment to another level, and we could present ourselves in a better space. A small overview of the team that I talk about. I personally come from a background where we have all the different sectors which we work in. We have a diamond jewelry outlet, we have a finance background, we are into manufacturing, all combined together, and I'm focusedly currently doing Cupidknot from last 6 years as we talk about the industry specifically. Starting 3 years of journey was into personalized matchmaking, where I took the idea of how this particular industry runs in, and we were working on a freemium model where we used to visit personally to every single client. We talk about them, we understand their journey, and specific community towards Jain community, as I belong from that particular community. So I understand a little bit nuances of that particular community. So working closely with them, and they are one of those community who are not really available on any kind of those platforms. So for them, matrimony itself is a big taboo. So trying to make them more aware and educate about how to go ahead and how to give choices the first importance in the journey of millennials, as we speak about 20 to 25, 25 to 45 years of age group are the current target segment that we're looking at. And most of them have a choice factor which comes into play, and which is very much asked by every single person who goes out for a possible alliance for themselves. We have a group of young people that is there. Piyush comes in with 13 plus years of experience. Madhulika has 5 years of experience, and Jay has 2 years of experience. All together, combined into a different sectors. We talk about Edutech, we talk about e-com. All of them have worked across different cross borders. Our consultants is Manish and Ashwin. Manish comes with a background which handles a team of 70 plus people across Bombay and Surat. Ashwin is a mentor and an ADC at HSBC, and he helps us in our marketing and performance campaign. As we talk about how do we started with this particular concept of Cupidknot, where the problem lies is trust, mutual connection, high number of passive users, social fragmentation, and long-term commitment with a subscription model. So these kind of things are pretty much relevant that comes around in the industry where, people want to go with the platforms or in agents, but they don't find it, that much of what we say, commitment, my conviction towards this. And that is the reason they try to communicate with many of the other people in their journey, and they end up not with staying with one people, but communicating with multiple people. That is where all these kind of issues are not being answered by any of the present players that are there in the market, be it online, be it offline. So it feels like, we are shooting in the dark without, I don't know who the person is who I'm talking to on the other side of the app or the other side of my platform, who my partner is, because I don't have a trust with them. I feel that, this particular person will not validate my choices, or his character certificate is not being made up by me. So these are all the pressing issues that we feel that which is creating a big problem in this particular industry. The solution that we bring into light is mutual connections, where we feel that 89% of the decision comes into light when you have a person who helps you join two dots together. So as we speak, in specific to community, we talk about when we have been associated with the people that are down the ladder, be it parents or be it individuals, they feel that 89% of the decision comes in when we have some, Tata Mama Pupa who's recommending that particular person, you can go ahead with that. So that is where mutual connection comes into play, and we are providing that particular solution through the medium of our app, which at the moment nobody is doing it, and which is one of the most persistent need of this particular industry. As we say, stage data exposure. So what we mean by stage data exposure is that you don't have to fill out 15-20 minutes form to get enrolled on the platform. It is a very stage and interactive process where you fill out something, you interact, you fill out something, you interact, and same way your information is also shared in three different ways. As we talk about any matrimonial platform, has three things to do: watch, match, and connect. All those three things have some of the information layered between each other, and that is how we are sharing it. By terms of verification we speak, we are authentic. We are not authenticating who the person is being, but we are surely mentioning that the information that has been provided by that user is appropriate and it is shareable between each other, so that there is no issues when we are communicating between each other. Pay as you go model is one of the most prominent thing and the disruptive thing that we bring into this industry. As you know, yesterday I was watching Shark Tank, and Piyush Bansal mentioned it, that subscription in India is dead. Nobody wants to go with subscription, and it is one of the dying things. And that is where pay as you go model will be introduced as the disruptive segment, because not one single person in this industry is doing this particular concept. And yes, we talk about, sorry, our VP statement is mutual connection matches for everyone on Cupidknot. As we talk about the market size is currently looking at 600 million people that are unmarried, and 100 million people are active seekers. Every year in India, between the age of 25 to 45, 30% of the population matures to getting or finding themselves an alliance. As we talk about this industry, and this particular numbers are growing and growing across the globe within the Indian community. The business model that we are currently operating in, the value proposition that we are showing in is pay-as-you-go model, mutual connection, data privacy, digital coins. The channel that we are operating to make our customers aware about ourselves is application, after-sales services, milestone rewards, and the tech support that is there for us. Customer segments, 25 to 45 years of age group, unmarried, or second marriages, and also the parents that are there who are looking for a land for their children. Revenue stream is currently Cupid Coins, premium membership. Again, it is not a subscription model. It is a feature where you can get a person who have a mutual connection with you. That is where premium profiles come into play. And the third is affiliate marketing, which is going to be launched soon by the help of Cupid Coins that are there on our app. It will be associated just like the way Cred moves its Cred points on the app. The go-to-market strategy that is currently that we're operating is into digital branding by the means of social media like Facebook and Instagram and Google. PR activities that we are already doing. We are also looking forward as we go into the growth stage. We'll be going with print media, digital media across various television advertisements, across YouTube and other forms of advertising. The revenue model as we speak about is there are three major, and the fourth one that is in process. pay-as-you-go model, which you have coins in a bundle of 30, 15, and 5. As we told you about in the start also, a typical person who comes on an Matrimony app has three things to do: swipe, match, and connect. And all those three things have been divided into coins that are available for us. That comes in a bundle of 13, 15 size. If you want to go with any specific coins, you can always have the option to convert that coin with the other part. Connect can be converted into match and same way into swipe, and swipe can be converted into match and connect. So the user is not stuck on any one.
You have 1 minute left, Siddhant.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Mutual connection, it is again priced at a flat fee of 999 rupees, where you can share the mutual connection that is there between two users, and that is where you can make an establishment that how you are moving forward with it. This is the benchmarking that we have placed ourselves. A few features that we are covering again, that is 6 out of 6, 5 features have been covered by us, and none of the closest competitor that comes in is better us. Traction, currently we have tracked around 312,712 transactions on our app, 30,000 downloads, 297,854 activities, 187,640 swipes. This is our traction and projection that we're looking at in the coming 0 to 24 months that is there. The current traction that is 279.38% of monthly active users, 326 daily transaction engagement, 9639 daily counters, and 111 keywords have been ranking in the top 20 Google search. The ask that we are looking at is to raise 1 CR, which has been bifurcated between 65% in marketing and 35% in infrastructure cost at a valuation of 10 CR. This is a customer satisfaction that we are being tracked upon, and the love that is being shown by our users, and that is how we are looking forward to make a good relationship with you all guys and make sure that our users are entertained in a way that they want to be. Thank you so much.
Good, Siddhant. That was on dot. Thanks. We are open for questions. Open from questions. Yeah. Shiv, Manjula, Rajneesh, I believe, has already seen this deck. Yeah, so he may have less questions, but Manjula, Shiv, Amar, questions, open for questions.
Yes, you can stop the screen actually. At least I would like to see.
Yeah, so stop share. Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, it was a good one, Siddhant. That's a good part of it. Happy to just look at that. We have nice idea, different idea where we are just solving the problems. So that's a good part of it, right? So now you said you're just looking for creating a ARR in 0 to 6 months, etc. What's the current ARR?
Currently, we are pre-revenue. We are tracking around 4 to 5 transactions daily, which is ranged around 269 to 999 rupees in between.
Okay, and what is the user
because
base?
Our app has been just launched about a month ago. That is what we've been looking at. But we've been continuously marketing ourselves so that our traction increases as we go into a growth stage.
How is it currently marketed right now?
Through social media. Facebook is the primary source and the secondary source is Google. And we're doing organic on our own.
Okay, and you also said 65% you're just planning to keep it for your marketing budget, which is really a huge for money what you're raising about it. And what's the plan for that?
So plan for that, as we have spoken about, that will be putting down 25% for the influencers that will be onboarding. 55% would be in distribution, 20% would be in production.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, fine. I'm just good to go. Thanks for the clarity. All right.
Thank you.
But and no growth projection, Siddhant? What do you see yourself in 3 months MRR? What's the growth projection?
So, I have already mentioned in that 0 to 6 months, we are looking at a download of 30,000 monthly downloads. And 6 to 12 months, we'll be looking at 45,000 monthly downloads. And then as we go to 12 to 24 months, we'll be looking at 75,000 monthly downloads.
So that will lead to what revenue? Yeah. What revenue?
Yeah, so that is also mentioned over there. In the first 0 to 6 months, we'll be looking at 309 average ticket size from 1,500 users. And the same way, when we go with 6 to 12 months, we'll be looking at 2,250 users would be paying users, and they will be paying an average ticket size of 1,390, where we'll be including one mutual transaction in respect of the other transaction coin purchases that is there. And in 12 to 24 months, we'll be looking at rounded about 5% of the $75,000 is near about 5,000 users. That would be paying around 2,199 rupees as an average monthly ticket size.
Okay. Yeah. Any last question from anyone? Because I believe there's an opportunity for multiple revenue streams because you are early, so you want to like postpone that decision, but you can plan that also. There's opportunity for so many multiple revenue streams which you can put besides the pay as you go. Yeah.
So apart from pay as you go, as we talked about, we have mutual connections. The third one that we're launching in is affiliate, and the fourth one that we recently picked up is social media verification. That would be where we'll be placing different social media handles of users, which currently people are not providing it, and we'll be sharing it across users to establish more and more connect and more reliability towards each other. And we have planned it to price it at a flat fee of 499. That would be a lesser chances of it, and that will increase the user engagement with the other person by 65%. That we've done a survey, which is just completed 2 days back, and we got a result out of 730 users. That 65% of that people would be agreeing to pay some amount of rupees for getting the social media handles of the other possible partners that they want to get connected with, so that they can understand the lifestyle, personality of that person, and they could match themselves with them.
But it's permission based. Now you'll take the permission of the person whose social media handles you're sharing.
Yeah, so they have to put in and they'll be rewarded. So we have a very, I use the word cute. The cute feature is there where we reward that user for doing their particular activity. So if you complete your profile also, we reward you for that. If you do your KYC, we reward you for that. If you do your social media connections with us, we reward you for that. So we are providing a cute feature with a reward perspective, so that the user also stays with us for a longer period of time, and they don't want to get engaged into any kind of payment which makes them, कि आज दूसरे लोग बोलते हैं कि पहले पैसे दो फिर मजे लो. So we say, we first interact with us and then get it paid after on. Okay, that is the concept that we are looking at.
Great start. Yeah.
Just one question, sorry. Does the target here is only Indians, or is it across the globe?
Indian community across the globe.
Indian community across the globe.
Yeah. So that is roughly 100 million active users that are there, and every year 30% of the population within 25 to 45 matures in this segment. So the target market is very huge. And a good statistic that I wanted to add, every year 88% of the people get into an arranged marriage format, and only 10% of them opt for platforms like matrimonial, professional platforms like Sarthy, even Sarthy, or the others. Rest everybody do from other sources or from the offline media. So the market gap is also very huge.
Okay. Thanks, Siddhant. Good pitch. Yeah, over to you, Himanshu from Strangify. You can set yourself and start your pitch.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So basically, before starting, I have a question for you all. How many of you have faced rejections or have bad days in your life? Please raise your hands. I guess.
So they didn't hear that, sorry.
How many of you have faced bad days and have faced rejections in your life? I guess pretty much everyone has done that. So I guess this was just the question I asked you all to just to show you how big and scalable our model is. So I'm Himanshu Rajpurohit. I am the founder of Strangify. I am a serial entrepreneur based out of Jaipur, Rajasthan. I have built and scaled service non-profit startups and all that in the past, and have led a team of 60 people in my previous company, impacting thousands of lives. I am a professional coach and a writer, writing mainly in the domain of psychology, sociology, and philosophy. And I am currently building my startup Strangify. So now presenting you Strangify, let me just share my screen. Yes, so basically taking you through that what problems which we are planning to solve. The thing is that we all have bad days and we want to share that with people just to, man halka karna, we see that in India. But the thing is, we can't share those problems with our family and friends due to this thin wall of status and judgment. Ye mere baare mein kya sochega, what he's gonna think about me, or if by chance if he says my problems to someone else and all that. And therefore we are not able to share these things. And that is, making people more reluctant toward mental health issues. And there's always this taboo mindset building up over the years. And obviously mental health services are very expensive as compared to the average income of households in the country. And as far as a study by BBC, 85 out of 100 employees in the corporates are facing mental health issues. On an average, globally, 12 billion working hours are lost every year due to depression and mental health issues. The world is losing $1 trillion every year due to the loss of productivity. You can see these stats. These have been from certified organizations showing that how much amount companies are losing just because of lack of productivity and employees facing mental health issues. Now coming to that, what can be a solution for this problem? Like in many times we don't need counseling, many times we don't need psychologists to, we don't need just go to psychologists, share our issue. It's just like we just want to talk, we just want to vent out and share our problems and feel lighter. We just want to connect with someone who can understand us, who can sympathize with us, who can understand what our condition is. So if we can create a place where people can vent out without the fear of judgment, a place where people can find someone of their choice who understand them and they can feel that touch of sympathy, that they can feel that co-regulation happening between their two nervous system, and a platform where they can be anonymous and their secrecy is maintained. That would be the very main key. And that's why we are planning to build Strangify, where our vision is that every person who knows the term stranger should know the term Strangify as well. Our target is to go pan-India within next 2 to 3 quarters and be in at least 5 countries globally by the end of 2023. So what is Strangify? Basically, Strangify is a unique emotional well-being platform where users can anonymously vent out things, have deep conversation and share problems with expert listening partners of their choice who have faced similar problems in the past via audio call or chat, paying on a per minute basis. So these listening partners are not psychologists, psychiatrists. These are just the people who have gone through a training process. They have faced mental health issues in the past, now have coped up and are really good in their communication skills. So these are the services we provide in B2C, while in B2B we provide these 3 different services as well, which are counseling, team activities, and consulting, where we provide per head packages. So this is our team. We have Sanchit, he's from IIT Delhi. He has 8 years of experience. We have Yash, he has 4 years of experience in leading technology. We have Ridhima, who is from IIM Raipur, and she has 3 years of experience. We have Gaurav, who is Chief Marketing Officer, who has 5 years of experience. We have Rajat Gupta, who is leading the finance. He has 6 years of experience. And we have Neeraj Kumar, who is into digital marketing and performance marketing, to be precise, and he has approximately experience of 3 years. Now, coming to attractions of this particular model in pre-revenue, we have done pilots on 20,000 people. We had different models, but we got the early signs of payment in this particular model and did the pilots on 20,000 people, where the metrics which we received were 90, 80, 55, or we can say 50% people gave us rating above 9.5 on 10, 40% of people gave us rating above 9 on 10, 5% of people gave us rating above 5, and only 5% of people gave us rating below 8 in these particular pilots. Users willing to pay 50%, 55% of total users were willing to pay us above 7 rupees per minute, 25% were not sure, and 20% were not willing to pay. And users willing to refer, in the sense like, I use this app and it was really good. If we pay them, how many of them are immediately willing to refer to a new person, to at least 3 new person? And the 75% of the people were willing to refer it to at least 3 new people and help them onboarded on the platform. So why Strangify? We all know that next multi-billion-dollar industry is consciousness and human connection industry. The reason being that the more people are logging on virtually, the surplus they are getting disconnected physically. The human touch has been, we are losing that touch, and that's making people even more isolated and even more hungry to find these platforms where they can just share their feelings out. And as a result, we all know how much these mental health sectors are moving, especially emotional well-being platform where we are dealing with. In this particular model, we have very strategically positioned our product as an emotional well-being platform, not as a mental health platform. That the reason being that mental health is a very taboo topic in the country. So introducing it as a social well-being platform where they can connect with people who have faced similar problems increases the scalability of the model a lot. So basically, our target industries, taking through our target industries, we are targeting mental health, emotional well-being, social media, and human consciousness industry. We are planning to build bring a hell lot of services as we scale to a certain number of masses. So basically, what our target audience is, we are targeting people between the age of 18 and 35, plus people above the age of 55 to 80, where right now our target is tier 1 and upper class people of tier 2 cities. And next phase, we are planning to expand in developed countries such like UK, US, Europe, like countries like Germany and UAE, like all that. So what's the size of the market? The SAM is really big, $598.5 billion. And the SAM is 245 billions. And if we are able to target top 10% of the total size which we are planning to target, if we are able to target at least 10%, still the serviceable obtainable market can be of $25.22 billion. So what is our GTM strategy? Basically, right now our focus is to reach the masses. So basically, right now we'll be focusing on performance marketing, integrating affiliate marketing. While in the long-term game, we are mainly planning to rely mainly upon brand awareness through social media content creation, along with referral programs where users are gonna get paid as on a number of per paid user obtained. So these are our competitors. Like we have our competitors like Extrotalk, Ventscape, Therapier, Talklife, Clarity, and Calm. Our one of the most important direct competitor who is like, competing with us in a very direct market is Clarity. But as I am a person who is a lot in psychology, their website is clarityapp.in, while our website is strangify.com. And that difference between in and com, very clearly defines the vision and the aim to scale. We want to go global, and that is something which most importantly differentiates us from all the competitors which we have. Talking about like we are much more cost efficient, like we are like 3 to 4 times cost efficient. Our gross margins are much more higher. We are from perspective of unit economics, where we have a gross profit of 68 to 69%. Each and every user which comes to the platform is going to be a paid user. We have 4-step filtration process which we choose to have to onboard our listeners. We have much higher and vast sources of revenue, and we have highly skilled listeners. And our plan of B2B and B2C is really well established in the sense that brand awareness which we are able to create through a B2C market can help us expand in B2B and close those deals, and higher user retention tactics that we have shown as well. So basically, revenue streams, we would be having a B2C service renting out, which is priced at 7 rupees per minute. In B2B, we have all 4 services, which are consulting, counseling, team sessions, and renting out. We are, as we grow to a certain masses, we are also planning to integrate age-based services along with advertisements. So this is our unit economics, where our minimum ticket size is 70 rupees.
Himanshu, you have 1 minute left.
Yeah. Sure, I'm ending. This is a unit economics where our minimum ticket size is 70 rupees, where charges per minute are 10. So it gives the user 10 minutes, in which server cost comes at 1 rupee, listen charges comes at around 20 rupees, and payment gateway cost is like 1.4 rupees, and making a gross profit stands at 47.6 rupees. In the very same way, the unit economics of counselor, it is standing in total, it is standing somewhere around 49% in the B2B market. And this is our roadmap. We are launching a platform within next week, and this is the targets which we are planning to attain. And we are pretty sure with the amazing team, exceptional team, I would say, which we have, we can easily attain these targets as we are planning to go. And talking about the fundraise, we are planning to raise 250K at a $500 valuation, which is like 2 crore 6 lakh at a valuation of 40 crore 80 lakh, somewhere around that, in which mainly performance marketing and brand awareness will be taking a major chunk initially, including AI infrastructure development, HR expenses, and all of that. So yes, that was it. Thanks a lot for listening.
Yeah, good, Himanshu. Yeah, open for questions. We're open for questions.
Is this already launched? Do you have some customers right now?
As told, like we have done a pilot of 20,000 people in pre-revenue. Now we are launching our final product within a week. And in total, with the different models which we had, like we built it 3-4 times to get the early signs of PMF in this particular model. In total, the mass in which we have done the pilot is somewhere around 50 to 60,000 people.
And these were more of sampling, not a paid customers, right? Those 20.
Even the pre-revenue. But the metrics which we received were really good, as shown.
Yeah, can I have my question, Girish?
Go ahead, Saroj.
Yeah, Himanshu, it's a nice because but it's very nice, but I think it is outdated. You yourself shown few companies which are competitor, but I am working with 2 more companies. They are already there for last 3 years. One of them is, I can say, is Mind. Okay, so Mind, you can see, Google it, because they have been there for last 3 years. I think, so the problems are here is when you charge money. Okay, is no doubt everybody enters that this is a universal problem. Everybody knows that mental problem is a big issue. People are not accepting, now started accepting. But the challenge is, and my where I come from is, you have an idea and you yourself portrayed a 50 crore valuation as a 5 million valuation, but you get to post any revenue.
Yeah, absolutely.
By posting a revenue and steadily generating that revenue and growing, that's very important when you show a 5 million kind of things. Because why I'm coming from is, you have setting a very high target and expectation without being tested.
So yes, so answering this question, first of all, the companies which you are talking about, Mind and all that, they are very clearly dealing in the mental health space, in particular psychologists, psychiatrists and all that. And that in certain ways the barrier to grow in the Indian market. And that's why, as we mentioned, like you say, you have listeners, in the sense like our listeners are much more trained, cost efficiency is the thing, and the model which we are into, we have very strategically positioned as an emotional or social well-being platform. And that is the thing. And talking about the valuations, the metrics which we have received in the pilots, along with the exceptional team which we are working with, I guess this is something which, you know, is very clearly justifies the valuation which we are expecting. Right? And that's like talking about taboo of mental health only, we have planned it in this way. And I very strongly believe that the fruit of mental health is very ripe in India, and Strangify is surely one of the very right knife to cut that fruit.
Even though I think the problems are not that simple the way you said, because in India, in mental health, if they are not certified people, if they are not certified as psychologists, consultants, and then their case happens, because we have gone through the regulatory issues also. Because if any mental case or any consultation happens, and you don't take it from the certified people, have not properly classified, there could be a lot of regulatory issue. So a lot of even 2-3 companies I'm talking about, they market it as a general terms. It's that way. There are so many companies which are dealing with loneliness. Okay, I'm just checking you. I'm not telling you because I'm just telling you the problems what I've faced with the 2 companies where I'm mentoring them. And they have also grown 1 crore of revenue in 2 years time. And also there's in the panel of people across the consultants and all the things. I think maybe what I'm saying is, today we have probably, I'm biased with what I've experienced with the people. Absolutely. And you probably have to cross certain hurdles. Rather you say that what you need and how it will help the fund, instead of saying that 5 million and all, that might close your things. Just say that I need 1 million or I need 2 crores and this is the way the money will be spent. And these are the things are nice to do.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the input, Saroj. And talking about this way, basically we are not providing counseling in the B2C market as mentioned. It's just like connecting with people. And this is a theory which I very recently wrote. I shared with Girish that day as well, that in societies where a certain thing is suppressed, those are societies where those things flourish the most. In the sense, like in India, dating was a very suppressed thing. That's why the revenue of Tinder has been highest from the country. In the very same way, talking to people and sharing problems, not taking consulting, but sharing from a very taboo thing. And if we are able to tap that market in the right way, that can increase the scalability much more. And yes.
Sorry, just wanted to understand a little more on the product. So what is this? Is it an audio based? Is it video based?
So it's anonymous audio call or chat, where the user know who the listener is and what all mental health problems the listener have been through in the past. In the sense, like if someone has been through breakup, like let's say I failed a UPSC exam, I'm in sort of a bad mood. I go on the platform and find someone who has failed the very same exam in the past. I can have an audio call or chat. I can just share all my feelings. And that as the human nature is hungry for 2 things, appreciation and sympathy, the role of listener is to motivate the other person, to show that touch of understanding, empathy and sympathy, and motivate. And that's what the role of listener is.
They're just listening, or are they also advising, or are they
not advising? We have 2 very clear do's and don'ts. First is not to advise the people, and second is no comment, suggestion, or views on caste, gender, and religion. The person asking, basically, they are going to ask them questions,
How-
make the user come up with answer themselves.
How would you control that in terms of, once it's open, right? So there's so many of them who are, right? So there might be a situation where they get tempted or they may not. So how do you control that part?
Basically, listeners go through a 4-step filtration process which we follow. So we interviewed 5,000 people to choose 80 listeners which we have on our platform. So they go through a very strict regulation and training processes which are taken by professional psychologists and psychiatrists.
So if it's only empathizing and stuff,
Asking questions and making other person come up with answers himself. Because
sorry, I'm just trying to, because it's an app. How different would it be replacing the same person with a bot?
Shiv, you're mute. Yeah, now it's on mute.
Yes.
Sorry.
So basically, the thing is that when we are talking to AI or a bot, the feeling of that conscious transaction happening between the two nervous systems that can never be replaced. And you will always observe this one thing, and that is the thing which differentiates us from any AI or any bot. And that can be, I can, as for the like before that, I used to run a non-profit mental health startup where I used to lead a team of 60 people, and we impacted 60,000 lives, giving webinars online and interviewing them. So I can tell them we have tried a lot of things. The human connection can never be replaced with AIs when we are talking about such sensitive topics or sharing problems. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. No, I think it's definitely a valid one that's happening around stuff. The only linkages with respect to the revenue numbers and conversions related to that. I just saw one point in one of the slides saying that retention of the clients, right? So understanding is somebody's depressed, they come in, they went out, at some point of time they go. They may not be an everlasting client, right? So I'm assuming they would be for a period and then they're gone, right? That's
No, basically for that, pilots which we did, eventually the two retention was converted on two sort of patterns which we observed were there one set of people who were coming once every 3 months, just sharing their problems and going of half an hour. But there was this one major amount of people, like not 5% people, who were coming every 15 days, talking 30 minutes and just sharing their feelings. So like these two categories of the people would be there who are gonna go provide us with good amount of recurring revenues.
Sorry, one last question. So do you have plans to have psychiatrists and on board as a second level of that work?
As mentioned, in B2B, we are providing psychiatrists and psychologists, but in B2C, we are not going to provide these services because of the positioning. As mentioned, we are planning that we are not going to position it as a mental health platform. Yes.
So you are a competitor to Tinder.
Not Tinder, it was Clarity and F-Talk. Because in India, people are like Swamiji aisa ho gaya, Swamiji ye hai, Swamiji wo hai, and this is something which is going to give us a lot of competition, to be honest.
But don't mix both. I would rather advise don't mix, because if you are getting psychiatrists and all, don't mix.
Like getting psychiatrists and all that in a B2C platform. Yes.
Okay, fine, Himanshu. Yeah, thanks. Lovely questions. And Saroji, your experience is really valuable.
Thank you so much.
We don't have too much time to give more to Himanshu, but fine, thanks. We go to the next, which is Skulptz. Avinash, you can share your screen and present about Skulptz. Meanwhile, evaluators, please rate the startup in the sheet. If you have any challenges, please DM me. There's a sheet which I've WhatsApped you. If anyone needs, I can share the link in PM also, direct message also. Manjula, you are able to access the sheet? Everybody's able to access the sheet?
We'll check.
Yeah,
Please working on it. Yeah.
Please rate the startups, because otherwise the rating
It's
may
working.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Yeah, go ahead, Avinash. Avinash, we can't hear you.
Avinash, you're on mute here.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, and my screen is also visible, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm just going to start right now. So my name is Avinash. I'm the founder of the brand called Skulptz. So basically what Skulptz is, it's a fitness superstore. We have three verticals, that is activewear, sports accessories, and sports nutrition. And we are strategically placed within overlapping audiences of all these three. So before jumping into the presentation, I would just like to quickly introduce myself. Recently, we were so recently we were recognized as one of the top 500 challenger D2C brands by Yostery. Recently, last week we were covered. So just to give a small brief about myself, I was the captain of basketball, volleyball, and handball team during my school and college days. So I have a very deep-rooted passion for sports. So this gives me technical insight into, say, the technical differences between what is the length of, say, a badminton shorts or a basketball shorts, and vice versa. And as far as my education goes, I did my master's in cybersecurity abroad, and I went on to pursue an executive MBA. And when I saw a great opportunity in the market for the field which I'm passionate about, I quickly jumped in. So quickly going into what's the problem here. So as you know, like activewear is something which there are a lot of players in the market. So if you talk about a few international players, you can just see below that there is Nike, Skechers, Adidas, Reebok, etc. So the major problem here is most of these brands are overpriced for the Indian market. So when I talk about overpriced, their MRP is usually somewhere between 800 to 3,000 or 4,000 rupees. So when you do this, you'll have to understand that India is an economy totally, and the spending capacity of the majority of the audience. So any average Indian today would spend somewhere between 199 to 499 to 599 for a t-shirt, and 599 to 899 for a track pant at the max. So what happens when all these international players and certain Indian startups as well in this space have overpriced for the market? So what they eventually do is they narrow down the market to literally 10% of the total addressable market. Only 10% of these the Indian population can even think of affording such a segment. So that's where we jump in. So we are a brand for everybody. So our MRPs currently start from 299, 399 onwards, and we are a brand who's targeting the mass of the Indian population. And the second point being that most of the startups today in the D2C space, they are primarily focused only on online. And we'll have to still again understand that India is still, as we speak, we are evolving and there's a lot of change in terms of, online, but still there is a big market which is untapped in the offline distribution as well. So what we have found out is that there's a huge opportunity and an untapped market for affordable activewear in the B2B offline space. So when I talk about B2B offline, I'm talking about huge textile stores which are across pan India. And over there, we compete with brands like Adidas, Nike. We outsell them 2 to 1 because we give better quality at a better price over here. And going on to the other opportunities, that we are not only just an activewear brand. So accessories is a very, very big untapped, and it has very little competition. And this is a segment which is going to be really huge. We are already seeing a lot of traction in this field as well. So when I talk about accessories, I'm talking about, we have for the gym gloves, wrist straps, knee sleeves, elbow sleeves, these type of products. And we are the only brand in India who has a multi-sport vision for the future. So when I talk about multi-sport vision, what I mean to say is today we are focused on the biggest sector, which is fitness, which includes people who go to the gym, some yoga, running, jogging, etc. But as we scale up, we will have a separate market plan for individual sports like, say, basketball, volleyball, cricket, etc. So we will not only launch activewear, we'll also be launching accessories as well. So any problem should be quantified, right? And numbers definitely don't lie. So I'm just showing you, the last 3 years sales figures of some of the top consumer, international brands over here. If you can see Adidas, Nike, Reebok, Skechers, all of them have really been struggling. They've either had stagnated revenues or, they've had declining sales. So one of the reasons for this is that, the consumer is super aware. So today a consumer is with the visibility online, he's easily able to judge whether a product is actually worth so much. So imagine if I walk into Nike and I'm seeing a t-shirt for 1,500 rupees, I would have probably say that, okay, I've seen similar thing in Decathlon, or I've seen one in Reliance, or I've seen something in Max. and immediately, they will be able to be a good judge of what it's actually worth. So that is the reason for the decline of these brands. Whereas if you take a brand like Decathlon, who has been in the Indian market for the past 12 years, they have crossed over 2,000 crores of revenues, and there is nobody who's even competing with them on the accessories side. So the biggest reason why they've been able to grow so rapidly is, number one, they are a brand for India, like they're super affordable. And number two is that they are a very big foot in the accessory space. So we are, closely watching this space, and we will be overtaking them in the long run. So what is our USP? So when you talk about our unique selling proposition, what we have is, if you take a 399 rupee product from Decathlon and a 399 rupee product from Skulptz, we offer like much better quality at a better price than them. So if you take, the two t-shirts piece to piece, I can highlight close to 7 technical differences, which makes a big difference for the athlete. And in terms of, say, the thickness, softness, durability, everything. So, we are way superior in terms of products. And how are we able to do this? This brings us to the second point, that we have our backend in Tirupur. So you guys are, I'm sure, are aware that Tirupur is the garment hub of not only India, but the whole world. Brands like Decathlon come looking for people like us to manufacture stuff for them. So us being embedded into the Tirupur ecosystem, what this does is we are always updated in terms of technology, and we have unmatched pricing. So for example, we have some knowledge of making some t-shirts even under 60 rupees, and we can really compete in the market, and when it comes to price. And India as such is a very price sensitive country. And again, going to the next point, what our USP is that we obviously have a multi-vertical approach. Not only do we have activewear, we also have accessories, and we also have a little bit of foot into sports nutrition as well. And what sets us apart again is that we have an omni-channel strategy from day one. So we believe that every vertical is very important, and wherever there is opportunity to grow, we would take that opportunity. And we are already present in 50 plus counters across South, that is Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Andhra Pradesh. And like I already mentioned, we are the only brand who has a multi-sport vision, and we are proudly not built overnight. We have been in the market for 4+ years. And not only do we have men's, we have men's, women's, and kids. So what is the go-to market strategy for us, or what is our 3-year plan? So this financial year, we are right now selling only on offline distribution and on our website. So we'll be quickly listing on Amazon, Flipkart, and all the e-commerce spaces. And next financial year, what we'll be doing, 23 to 24, we'll be looking to do minimum 15 crores of sales. And here we'll be focusing on expanding our presence to 5 other states. And we'll also be scaling up our D2C rapidly. And there's an interesting opportunity here, which is the licensed merchandise opportunity, where for the accessories, for example, if you take a pro kabaddi, there is a huge scope for you to tie up for their knee sleeves. There are no competitors or no takers for these type of license opportunities, and we would easily be able to scale this up. And going on to 24-25, we are projected to do 60 crores, and 25-26 we'll be doing around 240 crores. The plan over here would be again significantly increasing our distribution. And the third year, we would start opening our first small format stores and start introducing footwear and other verticals like basketball, football, as I explained earlier. So what's our current business
Avinash,
model?
you have 1 minute left.
Sure. So our current business models is that we have 2 streams right now. One is our offline B2B, where we distribute via distributors in states. There we have a markup of 100% and a gross margin of 50%. And the second vertical being D2C, where we have a markup of 300% and gross margin of 75%. Just to give you an idea of how big the offline market is there are brands like Techno Sports who are already 350 plus ARR companies. What the future holds for us in terms of revenue is definitely the e-commerce marketplaces. Then we'll be switching on to our EBOs, which will be having our company outlets, as well as there's a franchisee possibility. So the market size as such is $28 billion. As we're running out of time, I'm just going to jump on to the next slide. So to the numbers. So the last 3 years, we have been growing at 300% year on year. And last financial year, we did 52 lakhs. This financial year, we are projected to do around 2 crores. The sales for last 4 months, you can see September, October, November, December. Again, November, December, we had a dip of 2 to 3 lakhs due to funding crunch, because If you see our website, we don't have any winter full hands or winter hoodies. So we kind of dipped in that. So again, once now that summer is started, we are again in a 20 lakh run rate, and we are only projected to grow from here. So the ask over here is $250,000 for 10% of the company, which values us at company at around 20 CR. With this, we will be projected to do 2 million. The next financial year, we'll be expanding to 5 more states offline, and we will reach 50K customers online. The funding part, the projections with funding, we would be doing 15, 60, and 240, which I highlighted in the GTM. So quickly going on to our team, this is myself, Sanjana is the designer come creative head. We have Arvind on logistics. We have Ravi. We do all our IT in-house. He's 25 years of experience. Two key players is one is Hitesh. He's our offline sales head. He was first my distributor in Kerala. He loved the product so much that he onboarded himself as the offline head. He's a third generation distributor. He also is a distributor of brands like Mufti, Levi's. He owns 4 to 5 showrooms in Kerala, and he's very well versed with the industry. And we also have contacts of distributors pan India. And any funds what we raise, we are not going to be putting on R&D. We are just going to be rapidly expanding, because we already know who the distributors are, what their reach is, and what we can get out of them. So that's a quick comparison. I'm just going to show some of the. This is how we are placed in the B2B counters. Just a glimpse of it. Some of our products, and these are our accessories. This is our infrastructure. We started with a 300 square feet unit. Right now we have a 4,000 square feet facility. We control over 80% of the production. And any startup obviously should understand the weakness and threats. So some of the weakness is that when we distribute offline, the payment cycle is 2 to 3 months. And Activewear is definitely a competitive market. And right now we are working on our photo shoot and website. We just launched a newer version yesterday. And some of the threats are the B2B stores closing, distributor bankruptcy. Only the accessories alone we import from China. We used to import 100% accessories from China. Right now we have switched 30% production to India. As we scale up, everything can be made in India. Our garments are, however, completely made in India. So to avoid these, how we mitigate these threats of having
Avinash, we won't have much time for questions. So anything else? That's it?
That's about it, sir. My presentation is done.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Avinash. We are open for questions. You're based in which city, Avinash?
So we have our factory in Tirupur, and our operations are based out of Tirupur. Right now I'm in Bangalore because we are expanding. We are appointing a distributor here, and we are expanding our offline presence here.
Okay. Yeah, you're open for questions.
Yeah, Avinash, I think you love challenges. Looks like you are taking mighty Decathlon to take over them in the next 3 years.
Yes, sir.
You don't consider already Reebok, Nike, they are not your competitors because they are lagging behind in any way.
Definitely.
But
sir.
I appreciate your ambition and vision where you come from. And you need to give a shape to this ambition so that only it becomes reality. The first thing I would like to say is that, what you have, don't you think they also have that? They have also good manufacturing, they have R&D, and now everybody is entering everywhere. You see Aditya Village entering, when Page Industries are entering these things, this field and all. So extremely crowded, each one taking over everybody's market. And their gross margin is 60% today. Their cost of operation is significantly lower than others. But what eats them is the branding. What eats them the cost, because the spread over, because they have hundreds of outlets, thousands of people working, it eats. The margin is eats.
Correct.
And today, when you compare to Decathlon, do you know what is the investment of Decathlon? It's hundreds of crores.
Yes.
So you come brand to physical store or physical store to brand. Decathlon has gone to other way. Maybe Reebok, Nike has gone the first way, brand to physical store. So what strategy, even this, we invest this money, we're asking 250K. Do you think you will be able to reach that? Because until 2 crore, 3 crore, definitely, because your team will be dedicated, you will have some influencers, some recall will happen.
Definitely,
but,
sir.
In order to get that level, you have hundreds crore. That is where the challenge will come. How do you mitigate those challenges?
So quickly answering your question. So if you take the Reliances and Aditya Birla Group and all of them, so again, they focus on activewear only in general. They focus only on one vertical. The biggest market which is untapped here is accessories, and nobody is looking into that right now. Only Decathlon, even Decathlon, most of their sales comes out from accessories. And in terms of how we are going to be different from Decathlon is, I would like to give an analogy of you can take an IKEA and you can equate them to a Decathlon, and we would be a Miniso. So our strategy is that when we scale up, we will try to make, for example, just to give you a small fact, 40% of Decathlon's product account for 85% of their sales. So stuff like hiking, surfing, these are all, they occupy a lot of space, but they are not revenue generating. But Decathlon is more or less such that you walk in, you have everything. But we are focusing on the core segments of products which would actually be fast moving consumer goods. So if you take, for example, a family walks into our store, which we would be somewhere only between 500 to 1,500 square feet based on whether it's a mall or a location. We will have key essential things like, for example, a tennis ball, a badminton racket. So we will be the starter for all the parents and all the kids to enter and try our apparel out. And what makes us different from Decathlon again is, see, Decathlon with their huge stores, they're always 1 or 2 hours drive away from the city. Even though they do have certain areas is accessible, we want to be the go-colors or the jockey of this space. So we will have accessibility in each of these areas with very limited capital being locked into infrastructure. So this is how we would differentiate.
So you're specific. There may be many and you will be specific. That's what you are saying.
Correct, 100%, sir. And we wouldn't occupy such a big retail footprint. We would try to minimize it, to as less as possible, and we would be able to scale that up even more rapidly by not wasting too much of capital on infrastructure.
Appreciate, but we need to watch another 1 year to 2 years, what you say and what you deliver.
Avinash, how many products are you right now talking about?
So we have in terms of activewear alone, we have men's, women's, and kids, which we have around 250 to 320 products. Accessories, we have another 120 products. So somewhere I would give it around 500 products SKUs right now.
Wow. Okay, so that's a huge number. I think very ambitious. So what happens? One of the biggest challenge you always know is that in retail, and so you're actually controlling end to end. Is it manufacturing, distribution, retailing? All of it is completely owned by you, or is it going to be a franchisee model? What is it like?
So that's a good question. So we are strongly working on a franchisee model as well, because we believe in delegation, and because we have good margins as we control manufacturing, we would be able to share the margin to the franchisee. And
do you have a store right? Do you have a store
no,
right
sir.
now?
No, sir. We are talking to 2-3 franchisees who are interested in us.
So right now you're doing everything online. Is that
online? And we are distributing into existing retail chains, like for example, Kalyan Silks, like Pothys in Tamil Nadu.
Because what you're taking up is a huge challenge. Just based on what Saroj says, that what one retail store itself is a huge cost. Getting into profitability is, so trying to get everything controlled. Plus you have 500 SKUs, so that's going to be like huge. Stocking it, supplying it. I think if you ask, my suggestion is that you need to look into narrowing it down and figure out what's the working you, and then at some point of time you could add on more SKUs. But this, if you're doing for the number that you asked, and scalability is going to be very, very difficult. With the retail market, I don't know if you're going for distributors, your payment is in, what do you say, cash and carry, great. If not, you'll land with cash flow problems as well. So,
correct. So we are working on with the Kerala distributor, for example, we are working on a cash and carry basis right now. And like you said, we are already shrinking the SKUs to like to few key SKUs for us to have it simpler.
Yeah.
Even categories, Avinash, you are doing B2B, B2C, you are doing women, men, children, you've chosen everything for such a small top line.
Yes.
Think
So-
over it. Fine.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Avinash. Yeah. Thanks for your pitch. Yeah. Let's go to the next, which is VBridge. Over to you, Praveen.
Hi, Girish, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Praveen. You can turn on your video if possible.
Yeah, give me a second. Let me share.
The screen. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about the lighting at my place.
No issues.
Are you able to hear the?
Yes.
Are you able to see the slides?
Yes, Avinash. Go ahead. Sorry. Yes, Praveen. Go ahead.
Thanks, Girish. Thanks everyone for your time and giving us this opportunity. This is Praveen Bolar along with Krishna, who's on the bridge as well. We are both the co-founders of VBridge Hub. So we are here to fulfill enterprise digital technology services at ease. Now, both of us come with 50 years of IT industry experience, having worked both on the buy side and the sell side of this industry. This has helped us to actually realize a new challenge that's coming up in our industry. Right, all of us, sorry, one second, let me just put my slide. All of us are aware of digital, and adopting digital is becoming key to the survival of enterprises of any size, large, medium, or small. This whole digital transformation growth is going to double in the next 4 years between now and 2026, from almost $1.8 trillion to $3.4 trillion. This is the spend that enterprises are going to make worldwide in enabling digital within their organizations. But one of the biggest challenge is actually going to be the lack of skills and capabilities. And when you look at a sub-segment of this market, the small and mid-market enterprises, the bigger challenges in the lack of skills and capabilities in their internal team and their existing suppliers. So what's happening to solve this a specific problem is that the market, the supply side market, to address this demand, is there's a formation of a large number of fragmented capacity of niche digital capability services suppliers that are distributed across the globe. And these suppliers are across various technology expertise areas like AI, ML, cloud modernization, automation, and so on and so forth. And this is resulting in the problem for the small and mid-market enterprises to find the right capability suppliers to source and execute their projects successfully. And this specific market opportunity with the mid-market enterprise customers, the spend there is going to be in the range of $300 billion this year, going to $600 billion by 2026. This is purely the digital transformation services spend among these fragmented suppliers. That spend is actually going to increase in that market segment. And that's the area that we want to address. And our solution and our value proposition is to help on-demand fulfillment of digital services projects for enterprises through rapid sourcing and right governance using pre-vetted best-in-class suppliers from across the globe. And that's why we're bringing in suppliers and buyers onto a common platform to aggregate the capacity, the fragmented capacity, and aggregate the demand from the mid-sized enterprises together to be able to source faster and execute projects successfully using our rapid sourcing methodology, our right governance methodology, and providing expert advisory services at every stage to make sure these enterprises successfully deliver these projects. When we look at the market and competition that's there, on one side we have freelancer marketplaces. They don't really act as a competition to us because they address a much smaller segment, which is entrepreneurs and small businesses with less than 10 million in revenue. Our target segment is 20 million revenue and above, with the small and medium mid-market enterprise customers up to $1 billion in revenue. So they address the smaller clientele with freelancer capability, where an individual can execute their projects. The kind of work that we are looking at is more enterprise-grade project activities, which requires a team to deliver the project. There is a marketplace platform called Globality, which addresses the mid and large enterprises. They are US based. They offer services similar in a similar model like ours. However, that is across all type of services, including marketing, HR, finance, legal, and IT. They are not specialized in IT. They address the indirect services, so they act more as an indirect services sourcing tool. So there is an opportunity to take lead and drive a change in the digital IT services industry with VBridge Hub. The team, other than the two of us, we have a current team of 10 members that you can see at the bottom right, along with 3 very senior advisors from our industry who have worked again on both the supply side and the demand side of the industry across the globe. So over 150 years of IT industry experience between all of us, between the founders and the advisors. In terms of our growth that we're looking at taking VBridge up with, first of all, from a revenue model perspective, the transaction fees is our revenue model, and we are an average of 5% of the order value. That's the revenue model. So the suppliers list on our platform at no charge, and so does the buyer. Gets the value add services once they are successfully onboarded. We're projecting projects on our platform to be executed from 312, about 300 plus projects this calendar year, to about 7,500 projects by the end of third year. And similarly, looking at an annual revenue jump from 400K to about $9 million. Our current traction, our MVP was launched in September, a few months back, 2022. We have onboarded 7 buyers. We have about 10 projects that have been initiated. If you can look from the 12-month projections that have been shown on the right-hand side, you can see in the last quarter, the October, November, December post our launch. We've had 2 projects go through the complete cycle with a revenue of about $1,000+ that is getting generated on the platform. Close to $2,000 getting generated on the platform. And you can see the projections for the next 4 quarters starting 2023 on the right-hand side in terms of projects and the revenue projections as well. Another important aspect is that we signed 2 interesting buyer contracts, one with Tech Mahindra and the other one that's signed in the last 4 weeks, where these 2 organizations collectively spend more than $100 million in total projects with suppliers last year. So we're looking at a significant amount of our of that spend coming onto our platform this year as they do newer projects. Our go-to-market strategy, we're primarily looking at focusing on 2 markets, India and the US. We want to focus on 4 areas for the next 12 months when we look at the next 4 quarters. One is through our personal network ecosystem of all the founders, investors, and advisors. Also looking at enabling certain business partners so within our personal network to help us with the growth. Second is we want to participate in events and conferences both in US and India, such as the Gartner Conference, Mobile World Conference, and others, where there is a significant amount of IT leadership that comes and participates and giving us a lot of face time with them to talk about our platform and capability and how they can use that. We're also engaging, we already started this exercise with NASSCOM and CII of engaging with these industry bodies through their programs to create value for their member companies by using our platform. So that's another way of we're targeting to engage with enterprise organizations. And finally, digital marketing channels like email and LinkedIn. In terms of our investment ask, we're looking at $300,000 to sustain our operations for the next 9 to 12 months towards the end of this year. Primarily spend is going to be in the area of sales and marketing that I talked about in the previous slide, a few resources key resources that we want to hire for business operations and development. And finally, another important aspect is to do our audit for SOC 2 compliance. Just FYI, we are already
Praveen, you have a minute left.
We are already SOC 2 compliant, and we are just waiting for an auditor to come and do the assessment and give us a certificate. That's the last slide. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Praveen. On the dot here. Yeah. So we're open for questions.
a couple of questions from my end to understand more. The way I just understood the revenue model is with the 5% of that order value. But
Right.
if that is the case, it is just for matchmaking and then figuring it out the supplier versus the who's going to execute. That is the 5%, or the USP is you also will help them to execute for the completion. I couldn't get that USP part along with that revenue
Sure.
model.
So it is both aspects. One is the whole sourcing process. One thing you need to understand is that the suppliers list on a platform for free. The opportunities they get through our platform are actually at zero cost. So they don't pay for these lead generations. That is one aspect. The buyer gets the value proposition of a rapid sourcing process, and followed by our project governance to ensure project governance and technical expertise to ensure that the projects are delivered successfully. So our skin in the game is to make sure the project is delivered successfully. Otherwise, the buyers will not come. So the 5% is actually for both from the perspective. So buyer is not paying it. It is a competitive price that the supplier is paying it. Supplier is actually paying it from their sales and marketing budget. Typically, these organizations spend anywhere between 5 and 15%. And that is what we are, when we talk to them, that's what we are communicating, and they agree with it. Pretty much all of them agree with that fact, and they don't have an issue with it. But the value that we're creating is in both aspects, so sourcing as well as delivery of the successful delivery.
Okay, so again, my question goes back, is that 5% is to ensure, what do you call, managing the project management and the stakeholder management, compliance, as well as the delivery. Is that good enough? Have we tested it, or it's a ballpark figure we are talking about?
No, it's an average number. This is, so we are not delivering the project. The project is still being delivered by the supplier. What we are providing is project governance, and we are providing technical advisory as and when the project requires it, in case they have challenges or issues from our expert panel. So we are not having a full-time resource dedicated for that project working throughout. That's not scalable. So our objective is to make sure these projects run. So we have a standardized project governance framework. The suppliers are trained to use that and report everything on that. The buyer gets benefit of a standardized project governance for all the projects that are run here. And we, anytime there are deviations in it or there are red flags appearing on the weekly basis, we interject and make sure if there are any challenges, and we try and address those challenges to ensure the project is back on track. So we are not active participants in the project, but we make sure that it is successfully run.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Just, I have the same question what Manjula asked, similar to that. Will you have a tri-party agreement, or is it only agreement between buyer and supplier?
No, it's a tri-party agreement. So
the money will not come to you, you will not pay to the supplier.
That is correct, yes.
Then still, do you think that 5% is workable? If the rule, you don't have any leverage, no? Once you given the reference, then the confidentiality clause will take over. How will you be privacy to how much cost they've agreed, what is the project, timeline? Then it will be, you will be subject to the confidentiality agreement between the two party.
Sorry, so Mr. Patra, I'm trying to understand your question. So you're saying, does the 5% cover the risk, is it?
No, now what happens today, if I buy from, your case is B2B. My case, suppose I buy something from Amazon. A supplier and me, this is a three-party agreement. I make the payment to Amazon, Amazon deducts his commission, pays the rest to the supplier. The same thing happens with Zomato. Okay, it's a
same thing, and that's the same thing with us also.
How? Because you believe me, this will be confidential part. Cost of buyer of the service, a B2B business, he will not confidentially inform, and he will not disclose you. You are aggregator, you are intermediary.
No, so we act as an aggregator. So our agreement is structured in such a way that the supplier and the buyer engage with each other and finalize the SOW, which becomes a contract.
Yes.
The marketplace agreements, both of them sign, are akin to a MSA and NDA included in that. That is what a supplier.
I understand
the billing happens through us. The purchase order is issued to us. We issue a purchase order to the supplier. Supplier invoices us and we invoice the supplier. Payment happens through our nodal account where we deduct it and pass it on to the supplier.
Are you sure this will work? Because now it might have worked you because you have clients like Tech Mahindra and all, because your team itself, you know each other, so they might have given you certain projects. But now when you grow, scale up, how will it work? Because SOWs, there is a very confidential, and they will not like a aggregator to know all the clauses and all.
So the SOW is actually between the buyer and supplier. That is there. We are not sharing it with everyone. It is a tri-party. We are in confidentiality for all transactions that's happening on our platform. The SOW, in fact, we don't get to see it unless they want to share it with us. But what we know is the milestone payments that have been agreed, because we have to verify that against the purchase order. We are not privy to the actual SOW contract that is agreed between the two parties, and that all that documentation is between the two parties.
Just be careful, because what is the point of milestone payment without knowing the SOW clause? Who can verify that the project, the milestone is delivered or not without knowing the clause? Because I have been working, like, fortunately, unfortunately, I've been advising a lot of tech digital transformation companies. Okay, my clients mostly are tech companies, all 10 crore, 20 crore, 30 crore. Because all the milestone payment with respect to delivery of the project. If I'm not privacy to this delivery lines, how will I ensure the payment? These are all linked.
No, so what happens is at the end of every milestone, there is a supplier raises a milestone approval request on the platform. The buyer has to approve it. If the buyer has an issue with it and says that, no, I'm not willing to approve it, then they can get into a discussion. They can request us to come and support them in that if they want. Otherwise, the buyer has to approve it. Only once the buyer approves, the invoicing process starts. So there is a control check there.
I understand, but I feel there are some intricacies are that you need to relook at it.
Sure.
How it will work. When once you standardize those clauses and see that 4 people, neutral parties agree and sign to those clauses, then only you can get assurance that actually it's working.
So we have a few projects that are running right now in that exactly the same model, but we will need to do more, I guess, to validate what you're saying.
Because getting the suppliers is easy. You will get hundreds of suppliers.
Correct.
The only challenge comes when the buyers come in B2B, especially in B2B.
Right.
Okay, thanks. Lovely inputs here. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah. Thanks, Saroj. Thanks.
Just one question.
Go ahead, Rajneesh. Yeah, go ahead.
Just one question. What is the ask? I saw 300K USD. For what valuation or what percentage dilution?
So at the moment, we haven't done a valuation. So our previous round that we had done, which was based on preferential shares. So convertible preferential shares. So we are looking at doing the same thing now, or alternatively, we can also do a equity. That's something that we have not finalized yet, but based on how Sarthy operates and would like to work with the same angel, we are willing to actually do offer an equity for it. We haven't.
Just a quick one more small question. What's your cap structure looks like now? How many founders and what's the basic?
So there are 3. So while there are 2 working founders, there are 3. So there's one more investor. So there are 3 equity shareholders in the company.
Okay.
So it is between the 2, myself and Krishna, who are on the call, and there's one more investor.
And I'm assuming you and Krishna would have the majority. Means, let's say, significant majority in the company.
That is correct.
Okay. Sure. Thanks.
10-second one input. Maybe you will need money only for this round. If your project is successful and your startup is successful, you will never need money because you will always generate a lot of money.
And we hope so. We need the money for scaling.
Once you get 10, 20, 30 customers, you are done. You will start getting the money anyway.
Praveen, hi. So when we discussed this earlier, but I just think just taking from Saroj in terms of what you're discussing, I think the question is about is 5% good enough, right? So I think typically a 5% is a finder's can be there, and then for the rest of the management and stuff, that would be a different fee. Because I don't know with 5% would you be able to do it or not? So 5% too less. That's the whole. On a transaction, it may be a big amount. It may appear, but it's like typically, you do for hiring, right? And then you do a finder's fee. But if you're getting into management, governance, and controlling that to cover your risk, if it is going through you, putting that in place you'll need to have something different, maybe like a consulting or maybe project management or separate one, right? So
Sure. We are considering that option as well and offering it to the buyer in terms of owning up the project management.
either you're owning it or you're not owning it, except for the routing part.
Great. Thanks everyone for your feedback and questions. Yeah, we go to the next pitch. Yeah, over to you. Amar, who's next? Nikita, over to you, Nikita. Yeah.
Also sharing my screen.
Yeah, Nikita.
Very good evening. This is Nikita, and I'm part of Genexspaces. And what is Genexspaces? To just give you all a brief, we are one of a kind of aerospace education startup. So I would like to call us as an edtech startup, focusing particularly on space education and skill development and the space industry. As we all know, how huge the space industry is and how important it is getting in the global manner with its economy. At the same time, how India is performing with its Indian space startups and ISRO and all of it, and the place where India is at. At the same time, how the future, as in the future generation are being interested in space and working towards space industry is something that we've been focusing on. Particularly the recent research says around 24% of Indians would like to work in the space industry compared to all the other countries, when the other country citizens, that's something that was said. And we have been focusing on space education. That is me, Sujay and Mahesh, who are the co-founders, coming from different background. I personally come from aerospace engineering background and learning about the space business and management from ISU France. We are backed with 5+ years of experience at SSCRD. SSCRD is an NGO which we started back in 2016 when we were students. I was a third-year engineering student when I started this NGO for a social cause to create that outreach among students and the community about space. It went on to become Genexspaces. Today, SSCRD is one among those, and working towards corporates, CSR programs and all of it. Now, coming back to what Genexspaces does and what we learned while running SSCRD is that our students, or everyone who's been learning about space, is pretty much the outdated content. And the method of learning, again, has been very outdated. That is textbook reading and all of it, and lack of space knowledge, as in most of my friends, when we were studying aerospace engineering, made a wrong decision. They thought they would learn about stars and planets by taking up engineering, wherein what we learned, what we were studying was about rockets and satellites. So this kind of led them to a different interest, and they, in fact, I think, among 60 of us, only 10 of us are in the space industry and all of it. So all these problems made us come up with solutions, which is to update the content, tell the students what is happening in the industry, introduce them to the latest topics which are important. Like in India, it's pretty much space means it's either you become a scientist or an engineer, but there are a lot of other things which are important, like space biology or space law with policies and entrepreneurship. These are topics that we are introducing to students at a younger age. And the method of teaching, we've been following hands-on and practical learning, which which India made it through NEP 2020 mandatory for all the schools to follow. Whereas we have been following that from 2016 through our not-for-profit as well. Career guidance is something that we want to give it to students, wherein a student comes and says, okay, I like this, now how do I go forward? We want to help them from that time of knowing what is their interest to an extent getting a job. So we have programs for students in schools to universities. And right now we're also working on content that could be given for graduates and mid-career personals or those who are looking for shift in their job, particularly getting into space industry, as it has been in news a lot. So our services are, setting up space labs and clubs, running the space clubs in the schools. We have also developed a curriculum which goes as a year-long program in the school, and we have a lot of courses, both online and offline, and career guidance is something, again, we want to extend. This has been the market. I'm just talking about India here. Wherein we have one B2C way of looking at, like we have so many students who are interested and they directly sign up on our website and take up the course. At the same time, we're also working with a lot of academic institutions, be it schools and colleges, wherein we provide our services in a B2B manner. These are the way we want to generate the revenues, like with setting up space lab and our courses and career counseling. Going forward, revenue and reach so far has been, we started Genexspaces back in 2020, just before pandemic. And all our programs turned online. So from that time till date, we've made 85 lakhs. And we've reached up to like 3,000 students who have taken our paid programs, whereas 20K plus students who have been taking part in our outreach programs. And we are looking at expanding to different countries where space is not at all taught and where the country as a government is focusing on, for example, UAE region, Australia. And these are regions where we want to focus upon. And we have already started with Maldives as of now. And these are a few pictures of our space lab. And coming to competitions in USP, we first thought, the startups which are into space education itself or competitors, but we later realized anyone who is into engaging the students in their free time were our competitors. So right now we have a lot of startups who are into robotics, coding, STEM, and all of it, who all come under our competitors. And within space, these are the people who are working, wherein I could say they're just focusing on one domain, like just rockets or just astronomy or just, aeromodeling, but wherein we are focusing on giving students the overall experience, because we don't want students to stick on to one thing that they like. There is a lot of social economic impact with space, as we all know. In our day-to-day activities, everything that we are doing is actually because of our space technology, and it is going to be more and more, because that is what space technology is all about. And if we have to use space technology for solving major problems that we have, education is very important. That is what we are working on. I'm also very proud to say that we are the educational content partner for ISRO. So any educational program that ISRO comes up with, we've been creating the content for them. This is recently during Eureka, wherein we designed a 2-week residential program. We created the content and given them in this form. We work with CBSE as well, along with ISRO and several other projects. Again, we've been the Elevate 2021 grant winners of Karnataka Startup. It's about us and what we are looking at. Okay, I had a slide, but it's not visible. But what we were looking at is around 2 CR of investment. I'm gonna screen share without putting it on a full screen. Give me a second. Yes. So this is what we're looking at, around 2 CR of investment, which would go into the team expansion. Where we have been lacking is in the marketing. We never did any marketing earlier with our not-for-profit, and we don't have much knowledge in that. So this is where we want to work upon. At the same time, we want to invest in the space lab that we would set it up in the school, which is actually creating more revenue for us. At the same time, we want to spend in money on creating the content itself, different type of content. One is physical kits and DIY kits.
Nikita, you have a minute left.
Yeah. So the online simulations and platforms that we want to create. So we want to make sure that students can learn in all the ways along with us. So this is what we are seeking. Thank you.
Yeah, what's your current MRR, Nikita?
Right now we are on 2 lakhs.
And it's online, offline, both, or only online?
Both, like all of them, online, offline, all the.
But you've chosen to be both online plus offline.
Yes,
both.
yes. We are on both right now. Like as I said.
Because this subject is tough to teach online. Am I right or no?
So we have, as I said, we want to more focus more towards hands-on education. So schools is what we are like focusing upon. During pandemic, we went online. In fact, that has made us get students from almost 70+ countries. So we do have online. The thing is, the online mode is for students who want to sign up for our program without school support, basically.
So you are currently what percentage B2B, what percentage B2C?
I could say it's almost like half 50-50.
50-50. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, we're open for questions. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. Any questions? Anyone?
Yeah, Nikita is I think amazing. What you are doing is really amazing. Maybe you are the future SpaceX of India. Time will come, maybe you go to that direction. Yes, but only one thing I was missing. You said 85 lakhs revenue last 6 months, isn't it?
No, not last 6 months. I'm telling this is from June 2020, due from the time when we started.
So far, you have generated 85 lakhs revenue.
Yes, yes.
And what is all content is in cloud now? All content is in cloud?
I mean, we have it saved with us, but it is not open for everyone. So there are few content which is like free as well. But there are like, it's basically like pay and get the course like that.
No, you don't have any subscription model, putting everything in the cloud, or developing an app. And
that's what I said. That's what we want to do, like have online, particularly the simulation type of content, wherein, when we say we are teaching about rockets today, we are using slides and all of it. While building and all, we again let them design their own rockets and build and launch all of it. Physical part is there. We also want to introduce them to this online simulation world, wherein we want to develop those things as part of this, what you said.
I think you have lot scope and opportunities, lot of scope. And I think I felt amazed seeing you.
Thank you. In fact, something that we are working on in Maldives, as I mentioned, is on astrotourism. Astrotourism has become one of the major fact, and Maldives, considering a tourism country, we have tapped on to provide this astrotourism facility by collaborating with all the resorts that are there. So we set up the observatory. All the tourists who will be there will get that experience. So we have put a business model over there, and it's working really well. Similar thing we want to implement here in India with most of the 5-star hotels and all of it. Oberoi is already interested. Oberoi Mumbai is already interested.
What is your team size?
We are a team of 8, I could say. 1 is in Maldives, and rest 7 of us are here.
And what are the qualification of those people, all team?
Mainly, all of us come from a background with aerospace or aeronautics, astronomy, and astrophysics. This has been our backgrounds.
Amazing. Good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? No. Okay. I had a question, Nikita. Your TG is school students, college students, or both?
We have set of programs for school students, set of programs for college students. When I say college students, I'm talking about engineering students. We have developed a curriculum again for them, set of workshops, which is going as a skill development programs with the universities. So we are again talking to over 8 universities to take these workshops as part of their curriculum, which could go as 1 credit course. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Nikita. So we have the last pitch for today, which is Hritwellness Ventures. Venkatesh, over to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Venkatesh?
It's Dr. Pallavi starting.
Acha,
and
Dr. Pallavi. Okay, go ahead, Dr. Pallavi. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hello, good evening, panel. I am Dr. Pallavi, founder director of Hritwellness, a future turning and ambitious project with a vision and powerful mission, uplifting each and every soul come across our way in the direction and dimension of health with an innovative approach to see diseases and a very extraordinary way to deal with it. That is an integrative Ayurveda. So, my PPT is visible, right?
No, not yet.
No.
It's not. Let me
Kindly share it.
Yeah. Share the screen. So I'm a doctor, but I came to know there are few doctors in this panel also, and they might agree this statement what I'm telling now. Nobody likes doctor, nobody like hospital, nobody like surgeries, nobody like injections, nobody like to stick to the medications forever their life. But this become unavoidable when disease progress. Everybody want to stay healthy. Everybody want to stay out of the disease. Everybody want to come out of their medication. Everybody want to come as early as possible from their diseases. The biggest problem is they don't know how. And that's where wellness come into the picture. We educate people about the real cause of their diseases and also obstacles why they are not out of their diseases yet through our award-winning program, education program, No Disease, No, KNOW, No Disease, No Disease, which won India Health and Wellness Award in 2020. We also help practically to come out of chronic health elements to the people with a powerful integration of Ayurveda and allied therapy such as activated oxygen therapy, nutrition therapy, and quantum physics or energy medicine, and so on. With this powerful protocol and combo, we can help people even in a serious health condition such as varicose vein, ulcers, or diabetic wound. Or what if somebody had gone through heart ailment surgery multiple times before and still want to get better? If done everything on and still wandering into the diseases and don't know what to do next, then Hritwellness is the answer. With our powerful combinations of diet and detox therapy, cleanse therapy, nutrition, we can give a sustainable health, whatever may be the causes. And for this, we all know we created a sustainable, duplicable project that is a Hritwellness. We all know that healthcare market is booming. We also know when there will come a subject of wellness and prevention, Ayurveda will be the driving seat. But what all people don't know, that integrative Ayurveda is the next upcoming catching market going to cross more than 400 billion in just 2028. And we hold the mastery of this subject right now in India. We already have 4 running centers, and we are representing this model into the market for the revenue generation. The expression will be franchisee. We have unique selling point for the chronic degenerative disease, which is India is right now hub in all over the world. Say it is as a heart disease or upcoming arthritis or diabetes. We are becoming the capital of the world, and it is very heartbreaking news. But the solution is with us, and our unique selling point is everything. Every allied therapy, which is a result-oriented, proven, and propelled by education, is under one roof, which nobody did so far ever before. That's why there is no direct competitor for us into the market, and that's why investing it today is the most intelligent thing what we can do. So this is like our education system or the allied therapy will be kind of a mall. Like till today we know that there are footwear malls and cloth accessories malls and jewelry malls and all that, but we never see there could be a mall with all biological therapy available to prevent and to come out of the diseases. That is what the future idea I'm presenting to you. Whatever my ask is about 50 crore, because we are showing a new aviation industry. Why I'm saying aviation industry? Transport was there before the aviation arrived into the world, but aviation industry completely changed definition of the transport. My dear friends, innovation and technology invaded every sector of our life, from the telecom and transport. Only one sector, I don't know why we abandoned it, to see approach to see the diseases, approach to see the diseases. That is healthcare. Right now also, we still believe that we cannot come out of this disease, and which I think we are breaking the myth. For the revenue model, for the financial structure, I will invite my partner and the first whose name you've called, Mr. Venkatesh ji. He's just across the screen. Venkatesh ji, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. Thank you, all the panel members. As Doctor mentioned that, so we are integrating the Ayurveda with powerful allied therapies. As you said already, there is no center where we can get all the facilities under one roof. So at present, we have 4 centers of our own, where it has been practiced of, I think now we have 7 years completed, but the Hritwellness came into the picture last 2 years back. So 21 January we have started, and we started with the Bangalore center. So where we have all the facilities there. There is a consultation, and there is a clear deficiency of nutritions and the detoxification, what it need to be done. All this will be screened. All the equipments and all we have. Typically, one center will have the investment of around 25 to 28 lakhs. Okay, and the doctor will be there, nurse will be there, and all Panchakarma therapists and other allied therapists will be there. So this is a typical one center structure. So we have such 4 centers, and all we are doing it in a operational profit and all we are making it. So next slide, please. Yeah, this is our team. No, you go to the team. This is our team. It is headed by Dr. Pallavi. She is a medical director, and we have a nutrition head, that is Mr. Dhanasri madam, and Arati, and Anandji, and Mr. Katib. He looks after finance, and I am looking after the operations. My name is Venkatesh. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. No, go to the next slide. Funding. Yeah. So right now, yeah. Right now we have, I said that, so 4 centers we have, and we are planning to expand our business through our own centers. That is, we are targeting around 10 centers, and we also wanted to have a franchisee model along with that, so that we can expand very fast. And there are so many people who is our patients as well as our well-wishers and friends. In the close circle, they are asking for a franchisee because they have seen the results, and earlier they would have been gone to the other hospitals and all, and they would have spent.
You have a minute left.
Okay, so they would have been spent a lot of money there, but here without exposing to the chemicals and all, so we are able to give the results. So that is what we are trying to expand, both the COCO model as well as franchisee model. So next slide, ask. Can you? Yeah. No. Yeah. What we are required for our expansion is, we wanted to have a 50-bed private hospital where we can treat every patient there. There the major money goes there. And another thing is IT infrastructure and the online social marketing and all we require. And in addition to that, we wanted to have a 20 centers on our COCO model, and the rest of the things is a franchisee model. So we are expecting around 50 crore for the further expansion of our business. Thank you very much. Please, any questions you can definitely.
Yeah, we are open for questions.
Yeah, Dr. Pallavi, you're doing a great job, no doubt, absolutely. And I don't want to be critical, but let me share some experience. You said that you are the one of the first company to have this integrative medicine. But I'm working with the well-being. You know the well-being, Rupa Lakshmi.
Okay.
Is for 9 years you have been there in this well-being, because fortunately or unfortunately I am the mentor to them. And the integrity medicine, Institute of Integrative Medicine, see the director now last 3 years. We've been trying to the exactly similar line. You can see the company called Wellbeing. Okay, they have their centers, and this whole idea was to make in allopathic, you know that your diabetics, you cannot go back once you can control only. And this integrative medicine, they said that actually you can go back in diabetics. This whole the process they started and work with but scaling up was a real challenge. I don't want to get biased. Scaling up was very challenged. We tried to tie it up with many hospitals. Exactly similar thing, one doctor, one nurse, one center, and all this was brought, because the whole idea was that you prevent it. That the whole integrative medicine is all about prevention. Okay. So you can actually see Rupa Lakshmi. She claims herself is an author or first timer on this integrative medicine, and run an institute called Wellbeing. So, but I really, it's a real challenge, and I wish you the best. So go to the getting success on that.
Yeah, with respect to your thought processor, I solely raised 4 branches. Out of 2 are in Bangalore, and within a span of a 6 month, we could within a span of a 2 month, we could break even the second branch, and we came in a profit in 6 months. So definitely you have gone through a certain module which call themselves as an integrative Ayurveda, but they are not integrative Ayurveda. I am 100% sure they are not using something known as a Abhyanga and taking IV vitamin C drip together. No, never happened in India. We are the first ever came into the market, and we are documenting things. That's why the NICMR, that is the National Institute of Cell Research in a Microbiome, tied up with us for the diabetic reversal program. They are going to do research in, they have adopted my 4 centers to do the research. So definitely there are few people, because integrating word itself becomes so dull. People saying that using allopathy and Ayurveda. What my point is, we are not using allopathic drug. We are using Ayurveda and a light therapy, that is activated oxygen therapy. That is energy medicine. That is something known as a chelation therapy. So it doesn't come under actually into the allopathy and Ayurveda. It is Ayurveda and biological therapy. So that idea actually never came across in India right now. We have many client base all over India, because in Corona we were working and I didn't know how to handle by myself. So we created a team. We were working on a telemedicine, and we found it out. This idea is actually working with only one good nurse and one good therapist. So we thought, let us make a module which will be sustainable, duplicable, and let us take forward this idea. So it looked difficult with our past experiences, but future is like a immense of possibility. That's what I think.
See, I cannot compete or talk to you on this, because I have very limited knowledge. I don't understand these terms. But the only thing I can say, the marketing of well-being was, we started doing reversal of diabetics through integrated medicine. So maybe Rupa will be able to explain you. But yes,
Saroji, I have seen Rupa's model also. and I've seen this model also. Rupa's model is much different, and they came with a lot of constraints. So I understand both these models.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions? Yeah. Amar, any questions, or anyone else has any questions? Rajneesh or anyone? Shiv?
No, Girish.
Okay, so we have very limited experience, it seems, in this domain. Yeah. Fine. Fine. So thanks, Venkatesh, and thanks
Okay.
everyone for joining this session. Yeah, we'll be in touch with you. Really nice for all the feedbacks, and thanks to Shiv, Saroj, Manjula, and all the mentor investors who are here to kind of give feedback to the startup. Rajneesh, yeah. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Have a nice
Thank
evening.
you.
Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you. All the best to all the startups. Best wishes.
Thank you.
We'll come back.
Thank
to
you, Amar. Thank you.
Thanks
Bye.
a lot. Bye.
Bye.